Yorkie Hole. And by day, I run a training company called Saltbox Training and Events, and I go into companies and I train their managers to be better at their jobs, more effective leaders, and generally healthier and happier. But by night, or outside of work, my love is listening to and singing and playing music, particularly American roots music, and like things like bluegrass, blues, gospel, and old-time country music. And that's what I'm going to talk about now. So in 1983-84, I spent a year in the United States. I lived in a very small town in southern Illinois called Crab Orchard. And while I was there, I was taken to the county fair, and that was the first time that I heard bluegrass music. Little did I know, 25 years later, that this and other forms of American roots music would actually end up playing quite an important part in my life. And I find this music really uplifting and joyful and empowering. So why is that, actually, when the songs tend to be about death and dying? Losing a loved one, often through them dying. Hard times, including dying. But being in prison, being a slave, having no job, having no home, all of those sorts of things. And trains, both actual, literal and metaphorical trains, which I'll talk about in a second. All of these are about pain, actually. They're about expressing pain. And actually, through expressing the pain through song is a way of actually releasing that pain and moving on. And Aldous Huxley said, after silence, that which comes nearest to expressing the inexpressible is music. And for me, that's what it's about. It's a way of release, of moving into the light, getting the pain out of the darkness and into the light. So, let's talk about slavery. I'm sure you're all familiar with a lot of slave songs, spirituals from that era. What you might not know, actually, is that a lot of them are coded messages on how to escape to the north on the Underground Railroad. Now, the Underground Railroad, you can see it there, wasn't underground, and it wasn't a railroad. It was actually a network of safe houses and people who would help the slaves to travel north to Canada and to freedom. So some of these songs, as I say, are actually coded. They're literally maps in song, telling people where to go. And one that you're probably all very familiar with is Swing Low, Sweet Chariot. Swing low, sweet chariot. This is actually about the chariot refers to the plough or the Big Dipper, which actually points to the North Star, and so it gave people a direction in which to flee, in which to go. And it refers to the River Jordan, which is actually refers to the River Mississippi. So all of this is coded. So it's not about being taken by Jesus to heaven, which it looks like on the surface. It's actually about escaping. Another source of amazingly powerful songs is prison. And the most famous one, most notorious one, was called Parchment Farm in Mississippi. And Parchment Farm was a plantation, 18,000 acres, no fences, nowhere to run if you escaped. Life was hard, mortality